Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we have something very, very cool in store in our exciting countdown to 10 years of the channel. One thing that's been a staple on this channel has been hats. Hats is something that I absolutely love wearing, love a new hat. They're just something to me that's cool. It's part of my look, and it has been for a long time. And I figured a good way to celebrate this channel is looking back at some of the hats that I've worn throughout the years that have represented different eras on this channel. So let's jump right into that. So I got my collection over here, and we're going to start off with the first one. So this one here, I've always been into classic teams, classic logos, as you can tell my current hat that I'm wearing. So years ago, this hat is nasty at this point. I'm not going to even put it on. But this hat, the Montreal Expos. Now, when I got this hat in 2011, 2012, the Expos had only not been a team for 6 years, 7 years. But at this point, they've not been a team for 18 years. Montreal Expos. This hat was one of the first hats that I wore when I appeared on camera the first time in a video. I had this and some white sunglasses because I thought wearing sunglasses inside was cool. Yeah, me at 13 was wild, and it's wild to think there's content that I can look back and see what I was doing when I was 13, and it's super documented. It's very strange. This Expos hat, I used to keep the stickers on the hats, which was also funny. When I got this hat, I'm like taking all the stickers off like immediately, and I like to keep them on the old ones. So we got the sticker, the one on the inside. We're gonna open it up. You can see just absolutely how dirty and disgusting this hat is. This is one of the hats that I would wear the absolute most, and yeah, it's just overall one of the iconic hats. When I think of hats on this channel, definitely this Expos hat is high on that list. Next one we jump into was LA hats in general. LA Dodgers. I think this one was one of the ones that was worn a good amount. I may be wrong, but back about 2015, 2016, I was wearing this hat a good amount. I don't really know why it's a little messed up, but it is now. Pretty cool though, with the leaves and the pink on it. Just thought it was a little unique, and big fan. I used to always wear a Dodgers hat to school. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like 9th grade, 10th grade. I realized you could wear hats to school. So I always had a basic blue Dodgers hat. That thing was absolutely wild, just because I wore it to school every day. So I wore it for like 4 years straight, basically 3 or 4 years. And yeah, it was just one of those things that LA hats have always been a cool thing to me. And wearing this on the channel for a few years, or at least, different ones, was pretty cool. Next up on the list, though, this hat will have been in many different videos. This may go for the nastiest brim. As you can see, it's pretty bad. This is my first Warriors hat. So basically, in 2015, I basically never really was that much into basketball. When I was younger, I would stand in my brother's doorway and watch some of the Lakers games. He would just have them on. So I'd watch those. But I never really got into basketball myself. And when the Warriors were going on their their run to 73-9. The articles would pop up on Apple News, and I would read them on my phone. I'm like, damn, this is pretty impressive. And I started watching some of the basketball games after seeing, what they were doing, and just how cool and fun of a team the Warriors were to follow. And so I really got into watching the Warriors and watching basketball, and this hat was the first one that I got. I had the extra Curry signature added to it with the 30. That was just, the fun little extra detail I had to add it at lids. I think I have I have one with the City logo, which has Kevin Durant on the side of it as well. Never ended up getting a Klay Thompson one, which I wish I did. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They stitch the number on for you, stitch the signature. You could buy it. I think it's like an extra $10. But I absolutely wore this hat so much. 2016, 2017 on the channel, we were seeing this hat all the time. And this is the other, what I think is really iconic hat on the channel. Then we have the hat that I wore a lot in 2018, 2019 on the channel. That's the Seoul Dynasty hat. So Seoul Dynasty was the first time that I got into any esports. Overwatch was a game that I absolutely loved to play. And when they had a team that was a Korean team, of course I wanted to represent that team, wear that. And that's where I got the Seoul Dynasty hat, the first and only esports league I've ever watched. It was definitely a fun run back when that was really popular, when Overwatch was just a fun game. And this hat really symbolizes that Overwatch era of the channel. This hat would be in so many things, and overall just a cool hat. I mean, less excitement I think between historically on the channel compared to the other ones, but still a very cool and fun hat either way. Now we jump into an era of hats that kind of changed each year. These are my Red Bull F1 hats. So basically each one of these is a season of F1. We get the hat I had in 2019. We get the hat I had in 2020. Both pretty cool. I mean, this in here looks the way it does. This in here is also up there in the nasty scale just because I feel like it got dirty. I don't really know how, but it did. Compared to this in here, which is not nearly as bad. I think a lot of it is, I used to wear my hats forward a real lot, but I started wearing them backwards, so they didn't get nearly as dirty, because I was always wearing them forward. I wear it backwards occasionally, but now it's sort of the opposite. I wear it forward once in a while, and I also sort of realized how, I was doing every single thing wearing a hat, where maybe it's like, okay, you're doing something a little more sweaty, maybe don't wear your main hat. So I still actually do wear this hat if I go to do something a little more physical, like I go play basketball, I go for a walk. I might throw this hat on instead of, one of the ones. That's why this in here is not as bad. So those are both cool. Again, one each season, but this in here, there's a little bit of sweat marks on the front, but whatever. That's the one thing they get looking nasty, especially if they sit around for a while. But this in here, to me, is my favorite of the three, just being the hat that I had when Max won the championship, which is actually something we haven't really talked about on the channel, which is kind of wild. Kind of disappeared at that time. So, but yeah, Max winning the championship, I had this hat on. That was an awesome day. And yeah, it just, to me, represents that moment. And for moments like that, this hat and the Warriors hat, to me, are the coolest representations, because that Warriors hat I wore when the Warriors won the championship in 2017. First time I've seen the basketball championship. Listen here, the first championship Max won, wearing it, super awesome. And it's just cool to have that as part of the history of the hat, and it's on the channel. So now we step forward into the current hat. This one here, the Buffalo Bills hat. I've been wearing it for a few weeks, so obviously it doesn't have the same vibe on the channel. I don't actually think I've worn a video until now. Maybe it's in my Race Post video that went up, and whatever preview, or not previews, whatever, a few videos. So I haven't really worn it in many, though. This is, third or fourth video I've recorded wearing it. So it doesn't have the same vibe, because it's obviously new. Honestly, the only football hat, which is kind of wild. But, yeah, I've decided to like the Bills now. After being a Jets fan and having that every year, got kind of bored of that. So I'm like, just as a meme, I was like, I'm gonna like the Bills. I had a lot of Bills players on my fantasy team this year. And I also mess with my dad because he's hardcore on Jets hype train. That's a thing. I don't know if it's a thing, but he's big into it. So I can be like, I like the Bills now. So partially as a meme, partially as serious, because I don't really care that much about football. But I was like, you know what? It's a cool hat. I'll buy it. It's a cool logo. The Bills old logos, pretty cool. Kind of basic, but I really like it, and I think that this hat, if nothing else, will be one of the most seen hats on the channel in the run up to 10, which there, in itself will be a cool thing. Now, of course, we'll have a new. There's hair all over this charger because then Chum pulled it on the floor. Of course, we're gonna have a new Red Bull hat whenever the 2022 merch comes out. We're gonna have a new one, and that will probably be the one. I'm gonna get the Max hat with number 1 on it. It's gonna be a thing, for sure. So, this hat probably won't be the same iconic as maybe some of the other hats, but it's got a piece of hair on the front. But it's definitely gonna be something to, to have nonetheless. Grab some water real quick and we'll wrap it up. So yeah, that's the hats of the channel. A collection that sort of tells the story of different eras and different vibes of the channel as we went through the years, and just overall a fun little look back. So with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.